Okay. I'm trying this new StreamYard thing out, guys. I know you've seen a couple other YouTubers use it. It's a slick little platform, but I have no idea how to work it. I've been fighting it for the last like 15 minutes and I finally just got the camera to come on. So fingers crossed that this works. Let me know when you guys are in the chat because I can't see anything yet. But okay, I see I got a few people watching. If you guys would please just drop something in the chat so I can see it over here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pull up YouTube on a different screen. And let's see, Brandon. Okay, I see people coming in. You know what? I tried to do this a month ago. Remember, I tried to do this and I had to delete the thing because you guys couldn't hear me after like 4 or 5 minutes. And honestly, I just haven't done it since because I was like, you know, I don't want to mess around with it if it's going to be finicky. But comments are rolling in. Okay, cool. We got a crowd watching. Okay, guys. I'm counting on you. Tell me if you guys have any issues seeing or hearing me because like I said, I have never done this before. Audio's good. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get right into it, guys. So Owen Shroyer was kicked out of CPAC like maybe an hour or so ago. And shout out to whoever it was. I think Deborah or somebody on Twitter tagged me in the video where Owen Shroyer's like live streaming or something. And he's getting kicked out of CPAC by some lady. I don't know. I don't know all that went on, but all I know is he got kicked out and he posted like 3 or 4 videos about it. So it's just like, here we are again, yet again, with Conservative Inc. cracking down and censoring other conservatives who are outside of their little bubble. This is horrible. This is insanely hypocritical. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen the videos or not, but we're going to watch together. Fingers crossed again that this works. Okay, hold on. Screen sharing tips. Sharing screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Okay, got it. I have 2 monitors. So let's just do, we're going to do this monitor. Okay. Oh, no, maybe we shouldn't. That looks weird. I know that looks weird, guys, right? Oh, shoot. Stop sharing. Okay, cool. Let me try this. Okay, you guys see that? You guys can see my monitor just fine. My second monitor, my little desktop. Drop me a comment just so I know you guys can see it. Let me know. Comments are rolling slow. I'm going to pull it up anyway over here. Okay, here's my Twitter. Can you guys see it? You see it? Okay, cool. Let me go to my notifications here and let's see what's going on. And also let me know if you guys can hear it. Kicked out of CPAC right now. I'm being kicked out of CPAC, guys. It's been nice being here. It's been nice. They let me here the last 2 days. Okay, there's no sound. You guys can't hear it. See? I'll have to figure out the bugs in this. I don't know. Got to crank the sound. Somebody said, well, I don't know how to do it. I mean, look, the volume's all the way up. Look at this. Can you guys see that? Look at that. See in the bottom corner? Volume's all the way up. Volume's up on my computer. Volume's up on my microphone. Somebody said they can hear it. Sound, I can now before you paused. The end of it, Mike. What? What? Talk to me. I don't know. I'm going to play it again and you let me know if you can hear it or not. And then I think someone complained to have me kicked out. Is this Charlie Kirk having me kicked out? What's going on here? All right, folks. So that's it. So I'm literally being kicked out of CPAC right now. I don't know why. I followed all the rules. They told me I couldn't live stream, so I quit live streaming.
They told me I couldn't be in booths unless I was at Radio Row, so I left my booth. I came up to Radio Row. Now they're kicking me out here. So I played all the rules they wanted me to play, but now they're kicking me out. I don't know why. You have a reason why? No, I have no reason why. Tom Fitton, God bless you. You're an American hero, Tom. God bless Tom Fitton. So InfoWars is now being escorted out. Yep, they kicked me out. I don't know. They won't tell me why. I think someone complained. Maybe Charlie Kirk. I really don't know. I think someone must have complained. I've been here 3 days. I haven't crossed the scene at all. InfoWars is the most popular group here. I followed all their rules. I quit live streaming. I left the booth I was at downstairs. I came up to Radio Row like they requested, and now they're kicking me out. So a conservative political action committee is censoring itself in the age of censorship. They have panels discussing free speech as they censor themselves. And look at the media coverage here. InfoWars is the most popular group here. Look at what happened to Alex Jones. InfoWars is the most popular group in the Trump movement, and they're kicking InfoWars out, even though I followed all their rules.
Okay, you guys hear that, right? So, 1 second, real quick. 1 second. That was crazy.
Why do I have to leave?
That was crazy, but I want you guys to hear the rest of it. Listen.
In Virginia. His name was Roche. So I'm being escorted out now. No, they still refuse. You can ask. She's right here. This is the CPAC rep right here, so you'll have to ask her. So I'm a bad boy. I've followed all the rules.
I don't have to.
Yeah, I paid for an attendee ticket here. I paid, ma'am.
I will find someone for you to talk to.
But you're the one escorting me out. So InfoWars is being kicked out of CPAC. InfoWars is being kicked out of CPAC now.
So what I'm going to say is wait here, and I will get you someone to talk to.
Okay.
Media then.
So here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now I want to say something right now. I appreciate CPAC for letting us be here, but here's the truth. I decided I didn't want to start a fight with CPAC, okay? I really appreciate everything they've done, and I really appreciate them letting me here. But if you want to know the full story, they've now forced me to do it. InfoWars was rejected a booth here. We were rejected from having a booth. I was denied a media credential. They allowed Jared Holt and others and people from CNN and people that hate our guts, people that literally want to put us in a gulag. CPAC allowed a media credential, but not Owen Shroyer, who literally got put in a gulag for this country. And so they're going to have panels discussing free speech here at CPAC as they censor themselves, and they censor the biggest and loudest voice in the Trump movement, Infowars.com. So it's a shame that they have me kicked out. Now, they haven't given me a reason. I have been allowed to be here the last 2 days. I followed all of their rules. I was told I couldn't live stream earlier today, even though I've been doing it all week. I said, fine, I won't live stream. I was then told I couldn't film anything or be at any of the booths downstairs. So I said, fine, I'll go up to Media Row. They said that was fine. I was in Media Row conducting interviews. Now they kicked me out for that, and they haven't given me a reason. Okay, so the only thing I can think of is a powerful person who has pull around here, or a powerful group around here has decided they don't want InfoWars to be a part of this. And I think it's sad, because I personally want to see everyone come together. I personally want to be a link that brings all the different brands of conservatives, Trump supporters, Republicans together. We need a big tent. We can't be fracturing ourselves as the Democrat Party is doing that. So it's really painful that InfoWars, that was paramount in getting Trump in office and has been paramount for the free speech fight for decades, that CPAC would kick us out. But this is Conservative Inc., okay? And I said I did not want to make a scene here. This is not what I wanted to do. I didn't want a bunch of cameras on me because I got kicked out. I didn't want CPAC to become an enemy, and they're still not. But I think it's sad that CPAC has now kicked me out, refuses to let InfoWars have a booth, refuses to let InfoWars have a media pass, even though, as you can see, look at the attention InfoWars receives. No other group. They have not given me a reason. I suspect people in high places. I think people in high places. I just think they don't like InfoWars for whatever reason. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I was told that they would send a representative over here to tell me why I was kicked out. Now, will that happen? I don't know. They probably will just ignore me. But again, no, they're literally giving me no reason. They've given me no reason. I was conducting an interview with somebody running for Congress in Virginia. I was conducting interviews with people who were on free speech panels here at CPAC. I had 2 individuals invite me to go on their radio shows live on Media Row where they told me I could be, and now they've kicked me out. So if you want to get an excuse from CPAC, you're going to have to wait around like the rest of us because they told me they'd send a representative. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Free speech summits and free speech panels here at CPAC as they censor themselves. I think it's beyond hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is clear. There is something else afoot here. There is tyranny here. If they can kick me out when I've done nothing wrong, played by all their rules, paid to get in here, then there's something else afoot. Somebody with money and who is allowed to be in CPAC. That's a bigger threat right there. More than hypocrisy. Yeah, exactly. They want to stand for the First Amendment? Well, then have a big tent and let InfoWars in too. Look at how popular we are. That's just a fact. So why would they be doing this? Why would they want this negative press of kicking out InfoWars for doing nothing wrong? Think about that. They have made the measurement that they don't care that they're going to get all this negative press. They don't care that they're going to have all this scene right here. They don't care that they're going to be exposed for frauds on free speech. That's how much they want to silence me. That's how much they want to silence InfoWars. So you got to ask why. And CPAC still has not sent a representative over here to answer the question. This is my first time at CPAC. I followed all their rules. I didn't want to cause a fuss. I didn't want to rustle feathers. I really didn't. I've been very mild-mannered. I followed all of their rules, but today they've decided to kick me out. So this is my only hope, is to report the truth and tell everybody what happened. Alex Jones was here yesterday and mobbed a lot like this, but he was not kicked out. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions while we wait for CPAC? I guess they would rather have people like Jared Holt, who refers to us as Nazis and homophobes and all this stuff that's inaccurate. They'd rather have people that are trying to destroy the American Revolution. They'd rather have them in here than InfoWars. It's clearly unfortunate. I mean, I don't know if the tech companies have anything to do with this, but it's very similar to what the tech companies have done, is it not? I feel like this is what happens at InfoWars when we get banned from YouTube. We're not allowed to come to CPAC now. I believe I was interviewing John Schweppe, who is actually a speaker on a free speech forum that they had here. No, I didn't confront anyone. I've been very mild-mannered this entire time. Any other questions? Go ahead. So in the last 30 minutes to an hour, I was first told I any booths. So I left the booths. I was then told I wasn't allowed to live stream. So I shut down my live stream. I then started filming HD, and they said, sir, you can't film unless you go up to Radio Row. So I went to Radio Row. I started filming. They kicked me out for that. I can see no logical reason why CPAC is kicking me out today. I cannot find a single one except, as I said, powerful people in high places made the call to kick InfoWars out. Other than getting arrested for disrupting Congress, which is basically a liberal event now, I don't think so. I've never been kicked out of a liberal rally. I've never been kicked out of Bernie rallies that I've gone to. So yeah, so CPAC censors more than the Democrats now in real time. I think what happened to me today does not represent conservatives at all. I think what happened to me today represents, like I said, the powerful people who control this PAC, or the powerful people, call them Conservative Inc., whatever you want to call them, they made the decision. As you can see, the grassroots doesn't want InfoWars. Do you guys want InfoWars out? Does anyone here think I should be kicked out? So as you can see, this does not represent conservatives. This does not represent the Trump base. This represents 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people who don't like InfoWars and don't want us here for whatever reason. Yeah, the conservative movement's been infiltrated by tyrants. That's what I can only say here.
Are you white supremacists?
I'm not even gonna hear those questions because it's just ridiculous, and they know that. They know none of that's true. Yeah. Well. I watched. You just had an interview with Mike Lindell. It was a fantastic interview. Why don't you talk about that? Yeah, I interviewed Mike Lindell. I'm interviewing all kinds of members running for Congress. I'm interviewing all kinds of people out here, and I haven't been disruptive. And by the way, is the CPAC rep here yet? Is anyone from CPAC here to tell me why I've been kicked out yet, or did they just lie about that too? I don't know. It was a nice lady. I'm sorry? They are yet to give me a reason. I followed all their rules. I paid to be here. I literally followed all their rules. They told me they would send me a representative to answer the question. That was about 10 minutes ago, and I've still not had an answer.
Okay. Hang on. Let me stop sharing the screen. You guys see this? I was using my headphones, the sound from my headphones. That's why there was so much feedback. And I have no idea why there's something with my connection that's just not working. So I'll figure that out going forward. But I like this whole StreamYard thing because I was able to share that with you guys so you could see firsthand what Owen Shroyer was saying about him getting kicked out and how insanely hypocritical that is. This whole conservative split, this fracture is very real. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because how can conservatives in the conservative movement claim to care about the First Amendment and freedom of speech, but when InfoWars gets banned, if anybody from InfoWars shows up at one of these events, they automatically get booted, and then they get pretty much blacklisted from these events. That's what this is. This is censorship in real time. So how can people like, I'm assuming Charlie Kirk is there. How can people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and these neocons, like these conservatives that are on this like high up level, how can they treat everybody else who's not on that level with them when InfoWars really is on that level? How can they treat them like that? And nobody stands up for them. I don't see anybody on Twitter about it, but they'll let in fake news CNN, fake news that spreads way more damaging information. Like InfoWars has been spot on with a lot of their news stories. I haven't been following them for like 15 years, but I've been following them since 2016, and they've been dead on about a lot of things. So how, again, can somebody like Owen Shroyer or Alex Jones or whoever get banned, and then by conservatives, by the way, getting banned by conservatives, the CPAC organization, follow the money. Where's it coming from? They ban Owen Shroyer, kick him out. Why? What did he actually do to get censored, kicked out? It'd be one thing if, he was in there making threats or truly being disruptive, but we've seen this before. This isn't the first time we've seen this. We know how this works. And this is very much reminiscent, guys. For those of you that have been following me since, at least since October, when that Turning Point event happened, it's reminiscent of what happened with me. It's reminiscent with what happened with Hotep Jesus getting kicked out. They have this little circle, you have to fit this mold. This is kind of like they're trying to create this little upper echelon, like we're the creme de la creme of conservatives, and anybody who's not inside of that little bubble that doesn't fit our little mold, they can't belong. Why would they kick Owen Shroyer out? I'm willing to bet if you get a CPAC spokesperson, because this is a big story. Make no mistake about it. This is a big story. Somebody's going to get questioned about it. I know that Breitbart is there and other media outlets, and I don't know how they interact with InfoWars, but I'll tell you what, if I was there, if I had my own little media company, I would find somebody at CPAC and have them explain what happened with Owen Shroyer to get banned. It's one thing if you don't like his views. It's one thing if he's there saying something about coronavirus, this and that, but I don't even know what he was talking about there. But what would he have to say for you to say, okay, you can't be here, but we're going to have panels talking about the First Amendment and freedom of speech and how they're being censored? It's like, why do you care that he's there if you truly stand for the First Amendment? Could it be that maybe you don't want the negative press from the left, which you're going to get anyway, by the way? They think it's a room full of Nazis regardless if Owen Shroyer is there, right? Okay, so why do you care about who you're associated with, especially when what they're smearing him with isn't true? When they call him, well, this is probably not going to be monetized, when they call him Nazi and everything else, why do you care what the media is going to report on it? Because they're always going to report that fake news anyway. They're always tar and feathering conservatives. So maybe this little CPAC thing is left-wing adjacent. Maybe they just want to stand next to the left. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's liberals are sprinting left and conservatives are walking left, but they're both moving left. You know, he mentioned Charlie Kirk there. And I don't know if he's ran into Charlie Kirk. I don't know what that's really about. But it's just interesting, guys. Pay close attention to this, okay? Pay close attention. When people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. There should be no reason that someone who's a conservative, who is on the front line of truth, by the way, InfoWars actually was a big, massive part of why Trump got elected. It's on record that people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro were very much anti-Trump before he got elected. They wanted Rubio and Ted Cruz and other establishment Republicans to win. But now that Trump has gotten popular, right? It's like, I don't know, punk rock, counterculture. Yeah. To support Trump now. Now it's like cool and trendy and people want to get on board of the Trump train. And that's fine. That's cool. But don't act like you were down the whole time, right? Remember, Ben Shapiro, and I know Anomaly has talked about this and maybe someone else, maybe Vincent James of the Red Elephants. I don't know. But they've called out Ben Shapiro and highlighted how Ben Shapiro tried to get these people banned. Ben Shapiro put Trump, Alex Jones, Ron Paul on a list of people. He's like, these are dangerous alt-right people. Really? Trump? Okay. Ben Shapiro's pretty outspoken about how he doesn't like Trump. He leads his audience on to make it seem like if there's a better Democrat that got the nomination, I would consider voting for them. Okay, you would vote for the destruction of America. You are not a conservative. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I know that makes me sound like it's some kind of gatekeeper, but how could anybody side with the left right now just because you don't like Trump? You're going to grandstand. Oh, I can't vote for Trump. He's just, you know how Ben Shapiro is, guys. But the point I'm making is these people were never pro-Trump, but now they're acting like they are, and they want to jump on and cash in on this movement. And it's the most craziest thing. It's the most, and you guys can see it. It's not my opinion. I'm showing, you can see it right now. They did the same thing with Hotep Jesus. They did it with me, not to this extent. It was more of a roundabout way. Like, oh no, you can't be doing this. You can't, you know, it's the gatekeeper stuff. It happened with what's his name? That kid from a couple months ago, Nick Fuentes. It's just crazy. It's like they're asking real questions. And this is stuff that a lot of conservatives, they'll stay far away from it. They probably won't make a video about Owen Shroyer getting banned, getting kicked out of this event. But a lot of conservatives don't want to talk about harder issues. They are actually politically correct, believe it or not, in some sense. I'll give you an example. When that whole Groyper's Turning Point USA thing popped off, remember what was happening? They were showing up at these events, these culture war events, and they were asking Charlie Kirk why he has his stance on immigration. Why does he support legal immigration? Why does he want more legal immigration? When you look at the statistics, these are just stats and facts. So they can't be racist. They can't be alt-right supporting facts. They're just facts. It doesn't matter. And I've actually changed my position on this, believe it or not, guys, because when I was new to this whole like political scene and I was just learning stuff, just taking in information and, you know, figuring out what I think and then giving my position after, you know, being, just picture me being brand new to the conservative movement. I'm hearing stuff, learning stuff. I'm going to these Turning Point events. I'm watching all these people give speeches and go down and, you know, talk to the Bernie bros and stuff. I was watching all of that. And all they talked about is how we want legal immigration. That's cool. But we need to build that wall. It just seemed like talking points pretty much. But then when I dug into the numbers and the statistics and you find out that legal immigrants vote overwhelmingly for Democrats. Democrats who want illegal immigration, which only secures a residual voting block for them going forward and assures that no Republican ever gets elected again. How can you use deductive reasoning and not see that we need to curb almost all immigration? But people don't want to talk about that. Like, you'll get conservatives that literally, they'll stay far away from it. I happen to be one of the conservatives that's like, I mean, that's a good point. Like, I'm not against legal immigrants who want to come here and make a better life and all of that, but we have a country to save. The country's not going to be desirable enough to even come here for people to even want to come here if we just turn into everywhere else in the world. If you import the third world, you will become the third world. I mean, that's just the truth. That might be the hard truth. That might make people want to downvote this stream or unsubscribe, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I just said the truth. Conservatives, I'm not even going to call them conservatives. Let's call them Conservative Inc. They want immigration just as much as the left does, but they want it for different reasons. But the end result will be the same if you don't curb immigration, period. All of it. I'm not saying no more immigrants ever. It has nothing to do with them or the countries they're from. It has to do with protecting, first of all, taking care of citizens here. Like, how are you going to bring more people into the fold when everybody here is not taken care of? But then when you think about the voting patterns, and they may not share our values, let's be honest, a lot of people from other countries are not culturally compatible. We need to build social fabric with the people that are here. There are people here right now that have come over in mass groups, and they're not assimilating. I saw it, guys. I saw it. I lived in Minneapolis 5 years. Nobody can tell me that it's not a thing. And that's a whole nother story. If you want to talk about Little Mogadishu up there in Minneapolis, or Dearbornistan in Michigan. I know I kind of got off on a tangent there, but conservatives or anybody who's to the right of center that brings up anything I just said or has any kind of conservative idea that's outside of the mainstream, they'll get the Owen Shroyer treatment. And they'll make it seem like you were doing something, they can't tell you why. They won't tell you why. They won't tell you why Owen Shroyer was just kicked out, even though he paid money to go there. I remember about a year ago, Will Johnson got booted from Politicon. They actually physically grabbed Will Johnson. Who remembers that? It was all on video too. I don't know why. And I know there's left and right there, but the left is all for censorship. They love it. They're laughing at this. If you look at the comments under these videos, they're calling Owen Shroyer a crybaby and this and that. But in reality, he's probably more of a threat to the establishment than these so-called conservatives when they're just talking about, oh, the left, we're going to own the libs. Let's drink some liberal tears. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Let me get a pulse check here. Let me read some comments, and then I got a super chat. Thank you, DA. Don't let the division divide us. Support anyone actively supporting the conservative platform. Keep it up, Mike. God bless. Thank you. I stand with Owen Shroyer 100%, because if he doesn't have freedom of speech, none of us do. I mean, you could call this, I know some people will be like, yeah, this is technically freedom of association. They're not saying he can't talk, but they're choosing not to associate with him. Okay. But they're having panels on the First Amendment and freedom of speech, and they're inviting CNN there. So CNN has more of a right to be at this event than InfoWars. CNN that pushes all kind of fake news, that push the Black Lives Matter fake news, false narrative that got people killed, that pushed the Covington Catholic fake news narrative that could have gotten people killed, that lies every single night, that's been on a propaganda blitz for at least 4 years. that continues on this propaganda blitz, lying on the president every night, pushing false stories, getting people banned. Oliver Darcy got Alex Jones shut down. And now this. But they're allowed at CPAC, and they're going to have a panel on freedom of speech. You tell me if that makes sense. Can't wrap my brain around it. So props to, shout out to, I think Deborah is the one who sent me the video, because I had no idea this even happened. Someone said, we are looking forward to your new platform and job you announced today. Guys, I'm so excited. And, you know, I did a live stream on Facebook about this earlier too. And I was saying in that live stream, like, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. It's a dream come true. It's great when you can get paid to do what you love. This is God answering my prayers. This is awesome. But I said, even more important than me getting to travel and go to all these events and grow my career and, you know, do that whole thing. Even more important than that, this is bigger than me. This is something that I would do for free, because the whole reason Right Side Broadcasting exists in the first place is because our establishment media has lost all integrity. They were not reporting on the president fairly. Then candidate Donald Trump, they were not reporting on him fairly. They were not unbiased, you know, and Right Side decided we're going to go to these events and we're going to film it and record it. And we're going to show what the president is really doing. Here's what the atmosphere is like outside of his rally. I know CNN makes it seem like there's people lined up in Klan robes, but it's actually just really nice American citizens out here who love the country and they're patriotic and they're tired of the establishment up in Washington, D.C. and they like Trump. Boom. It's that simple. Reporting the truth is that simple. And I like being on the side of truth. So I love that I can get a chance to be on the front line, right? Like this is what I've been doing. One of my very first live streams in public, like 2 years ago, was when I went to my very first Trump rally and I wasn't sure what to expect. I was actually kind of nervous. I'm like, you know what? I'm in Florida. And if there's some racism, I'm going to see it at a Trump rally in Florida. At that point, I knew that there was fake news out there, but I still needed to see it for myself. And I went and I live streamed and I walked down the entire row of people and interviewed them and talked to them. And I just loved bringing that truth to the forefront, because so many people out there were like, oh yeah, look at this. It's these Nazis, these white supremacists supporting the president. And Right Side's doing the same thing. And they're also free speech absolutists. They're okay with my views. They looked at my social media. They were fine with it. They said, you know what? We're not going to censor you. See, they stand on the principle of that. So I was happy to say that earlier in my live stream. Very happy about that. They stand for the First Amendment. They actually back it up. And they're reporting truth. They're filling a void left behind by what used to be real journalism. But it went to die on the hill of hating the president. Let me read some of these comments now. Gavin McGinnis got kicked out yesterday. Again, why? Why did Gavin McGinnis get kicked out? Why did, man, there's so many people that have been banned. Paul Joseph Watson, why did he get kicked off of Facebook and Instagram? And where are the conservatives on this who have massive platforms? Why don't they stand up for people who are actually getting work done, defending the First Amendment? See, they just talk. It's all lip service, guys. It is all lip service. I can only hope that the president will see this, and I think he will. But, I mean, will he address it there? That might not be the right venue to address it there, but maybe he could talk to somebody about it, because let's be honest, they might have kicked me out there. I don't know if that's necessarily my type of event. I would like to go there and interview people and network, but it looks to me like one of those like suit and tie, straight edge, uptight events. And that's the vibe I got from Turning Point, to be quite honest with you, from the very beginning. Even my own nephews picked up that vibe. They picked up that vibe right away. They picked it up before I did. I mean, I kind of had a feeling, but I'm like, no. It's just these people. But it's like, no, it didn't feel authentic to me. I'm proud. Gary said, I'm proud to live in the conservative ghetto with you, Mike. Is this the ghetto, the conservative ghetto? I mean, I guess so, but it's more popular. It's more powerful. If it wasn't more powerful, then why would they want to ban it? Why? Gavin is one of the good guys. I mean, here's the thing, guys. The First Amendment is there to protect the worst kind of speech. It doesn't protect you saying puppies are awesome, puppies are cute. It's there to protect the people who say the worst stuff. That's just the truth of the matter. And if you think, okay, whoever kicked Owen Shroyer out of CPAC didn't refund him, wouldn't tell him why he was kicked out, okay? If you think his ideas are bad and dangerous and you don't want the negative press and blah, 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 first of all, you think that that's going to work. They're still going to smear you and talk about this. But if you think his ideas are bad, sunshine is the best disinfectant. Why not bring him on the debate stage and air out his bad ideas? That's the whole point. People with opposing points of view engage in civil discourse, and the cream rises to the top. The best idea will always win. And if his ideas were bad or dangerous or threatening or hate speech or whatever it is, then expose it. Maybe you can de-radicalize him. You know, I just see a pattern, guys. I really see a pattern with this. You have a lot of people who fall into one category, as someone just called it, the conservative ghetto, or you could call it conservative underground. I think that sounds better than ghetto because it's not run down. I just see a pattern of certain personalities that aren't allowed in these upper echelon conservative circles. It has an elitist vibe. And when you see the censorship like this, when you see the, blacklisting, it makes them look adjacent to left wingers. That's left wing stuff. They censor people. And I see a pattern. I see certain people with certain ideas, a certain rough around the edge approach, like Owen Shroyer, like Alex Jones, like myself, like a Hotep Jesus, like an Anomaly, like a Red Elephants. I think he's been there before, and many others. They aren't allowed in. They're not in the in crowd. Mark Dice, maybe Will Johnson. I don't know what happened with Will Johnson at the Politicon, but he got roughed up. He got roughed up, and I didn't hear anybody talk about it afterwards. I really want to dig into this. This is going to be interesting to follow because I wonder if he confronted Charlie Kirk. I really do, because he's mentioned Charlie Kirk before. I'm on Twitter over here. I'm just see if it's trending. It should be trending. If it's not trending, I expect it to be trending at some point. I mean, they had Caitlin Bennett trending, but I think that was because all those college liberals were tweeting about it. They made her famous. All they did was boost her profile. You really think she was upset about it? She might have been pissed for 5 minutes, but at some point during that exchange, when they were throwing water on her and it turned into an angry hate mob, the thought crossed her mind like, I'm about to get a boost from this. She had to know she was going on Fox and Friends the very next day. She had to know it. Who could blame her? It's that easy. But I don't know. Louder with Crowder. And I don't know what happened with Gavin McGinnis. I see some of you guys talking about it. Gavin McGinnis. What was something else I was going to bring up? We can move on from that. We'll just transition this into a Friday Night Rumble. And let's talk about some of the other things that went on this week. I want to talk about some stories, one or two stories that kind of flew under the radar. Okay. I wonder why. Let's start with the story out of, where was it? Mississippi. Okay. Mississippi this week, 5 teenagers charged with capital murder killed a 16-year-old girl. Did you guys hear about it? Of course you didn't. Why didn't you hear about it? Maybe because the suspects were all black and the victim was white. I know, right? Shocker. Shocker. They don't want to talk about it. Why? Because her white life just didn't matter enough. It just didn't. It's the truth. It didn't matter enough. But if the role were reversed, let's say a black girl were murdered by 5 white teens, right? We would be talking about that until Trump is out of office, because they'd be blaming him for it. They'd be saying, oh, my white supremacy is raining from the sky. Look at what's happening. This poor girl was killed. Now, let me say this. It's all bad. It's all wrong. It should all be talked about. It shouldn't be specific to your political agenda. But what they do is they take certain tragedies and use it as cannon fodder, and they'll bludgeon whoever is on the other side. They use people. And this is a great example of it. So 5 black teenagers, they didn't say that in the headline. They just said 5 teenagers, and they kept the story kind of hush hush. But they're all charged with capital murder. And for what? For weed? Because they broke into her house, I guess, a couple weeks ago. Her family called the police. They were mad, so it was a retaliation thing. I don't know. It's a heartbreaking story. It kind of reminds me of that story from last year in Michigan, Tyler Wingate. Dude pulls up to a gas station after getting into a fender bender with a dude, it's like 2 a.m. Black dude gets out, just punches him as hard as he could in his face. Dude dropped dead right there. And then the killer was on the run for like a week or so. He turned himself in. No national news coverage, no media, nothing. You didn't hear anything about it. DA said, did my super chat get filtered? No, I didn't see. I saw another super chat. Congrats, Mike. Right Side Broadcasting is great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I don't want to miss your super chat, guys. Right on, Mike. Even when you stray from the topic at hand, what you have to say is always worth listening to. That's something I got to work on, even in this very moment. Huh? Oh, DA. Don't let the division divide us. Support anyone actually supporting the conservative platform. Keep it up, Mike. I thought I read that one already. But thank you guys very much for the super chats. You guys have no idea how helpful this is. It just feels like things are just coming together and clicking. I just feel so grateful. Thanks to God, man. It was rough. 2019 was rough. Even though I had some great moments, it was like, man, this is supposed to be my thing. I'm supposed to do this full time. And now, boom, Right Side Broadcasting. But like I was saying, so this story reminds me of the Tyler Wingate thing in Michigan. But that's not the only thing. These hate crime hoaxes. Did you guys hear about the hate crime hoax in Philly? Oh my gosh. So a civil rights icon, he has like a statue and a mural in Philadelphia, and his name slips my mind right now. But there was graffiti spray painted on this mural. They spray painted the N-word and all these other terms on there. And they're like, this is a tragedy. And it was on the news. And this was like before Valentine's Day. And they're like, man, the suspect is on the loose. We haven't found him yet. And police found the surveillance video of it. And yep, he was black. He was black. What's Jesse Lee Peterson say? He black. The dude, are you kidding? Are you kidding? When the demand for racism does not meet the supply, we created ourselves. And of course, nobody wants to talk about that. There's no retractions of the story. They just wanted to use it as an opportunity to say, look, it's white supremacy, it's racism. Hate crimes are on the rise. Yeah, reported hate crimes are on the rise. But when you dig into the facts of these so-called hate crimes, they're committed by the people who are supposed to be running around scared. They're running around scared, but they're the ones doing this. Like, you cannot make sense of this. It goes beyond Trump derangement syndrome. It's some kind of self-loathing, narcissistic. I don't know what to call it. It's disgusting. It's like you're going to, like the dude with the hate crime hoax at his own restaurant. He vandalized, destroyed his own restaurant, and then drew a swastika backwards. Come on. Or Erica Thomas or Juicy Smoulier. Or I think it was the Duke Lacrosse hate crime, whatever, rape thing. That was just, man. So that was another story this week. Comes out, there's a black dude committing a hate crime against himself. It's just a bad look. It's a bad look, man. People don't want to talk about it. Someone said, let's create some fake news. Hate crimes, my fellow people. That way all hate crimes in the future will be downplayed. I know that's what's crazy is there are still hate crimes that happen. Well, we can get into the whole is hate crime a thing down the road. But by the definition of hate crimes, like if we're acknowledging that hate crimes are real, like the term hate crime is actually a thing, there are hate crimes that happen, but they're not reported on. Or it's like the boy who cried wolf. They don't believe him. So now, if there actually was a Jussie Smollett case, maybe it happened in the summertime somewhere in Texas, I don't know. Let's say that actually happened. They're going to be like, yeah, right, Jussie Smollett 2.0. We don't believe you because of Jussie Smollett's hate crime. And the actual hate crimes, like, I don't know, somebody driving their van into a tent full of Trump supporters and Republicans, or, you know, the guy that tried to mass murder people at an ICE facility, or all the hate crimes against conservatives, milkshakes thrown on them, that kind of thing. They don't talk about it. It's like that doesn't exist. These people are incredibly fake and bogus and phony, and I'm going to keep calling them out. They don't care about hate crimes. They don't care about anybody. They care about their sick agenda of trying to control everybody, trying to censor people, trying to kick people out of these events. It's like the boy who cried wolf. I got a nice little crowd watching. Appreciate all you guys. Make sure you give it a like. I can't see the likes and dislikes coming in the way I could if this were actually streaming on YouTube, because as you can see in the top right corner, we're on StreamYard, and this is my first time using it. I think I'm going to use it going forward. I kind of like it. White Elephant. Mike, did you see the new Taylor Swift song? It sucks because it claims men are sexist and are all patriarchs. No, I didn't see it. I think I saw like passively it was trending on Twitter or something like that. I think that they're all paid to do a job. Taylor Swift has been politically outspoken since at least the midterm elections, when she threw her support behind the Democrat, I guess it was a governor race or a Senate race in Tennessee. And the Republican won because of that. I think her name was Marsha Blackburn. Taylor Swift came out, and I guess she wasn't political before that, but she's like, I'm throwing all my weight behind whoever the hell it was. That was a Democrat person. And as a result of that, they saw Republican voter registration go up. So it actually has the opposite effect. So let Taylor Swift do that. Let them do it. As much as sometimes I'll make videos and I'll talk about how much it makes me mad that these entertainers and athletes and people with huge platforms and influence push false narratives and promote agendas and all that stuff. As much as it makes me mad, it wakes people up. more and more and more and more and more, it wakes people up. Even though you can't see it right away, it does happen. It's happening. And that can only be a good thing. The damage is being done. And it doesn't matter. As you guys can see, it looks like Communist Bernie is going to get that nomination. And I can already see it now. Snoop Dogg live performance at Bernie's rally. They did it for Hillary. Jay-Z and Beyonce, we're going to throw a concert for the blacks in Cleveland because she's too elitist to go and talk to you about what's actually bothering you and what issues you're facing. It's like, hey, let's just throw Jay-Z and Beyonce out there. They're going to do the same thing for Bernie. Public Enemy and Bernie Sanders are throwing a concert in California called Fight the Powers. Bernie wants to be the power. Make no mistake about it, man. So all these like musicians and entertainers that throw all their money and their support behind these left-wing candidates get egg on their face. I believe they spent a record amount of money donating. When I say they, I mean just anonymous sources, big time donors, spent all kind of money on their three candidates in midterms. Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum, Beto O'Rourke. All three of them lost. Even though Danny DeVito knocked on doors, Oprah said, hey, let's get out there and vote. We all know what that means. Vote Democrat. Oprah's out in Georgia trying to pound the pavement for Stacey Abrams. You had Diddy in Florida trying to get Andrew Gillum elected. People are waking up to it, man. So let Taylor Swift do what she's going to do. All these stupid movies they put out are terrible. The ratings suck. Their award shows aren't doing well. People are tuning out. They're sick of it. They're fed up. They're coming to alternative platforms. They're coming to find Mike Nificent. They're going to find Owen Shroyer. They're going to find other people. They're looking for an alternative voice because it's more real. It's more effective. It's you guys can see it, man. It's like the elitist mindset is just wearing people out. They're over there they make fun of Trump every time he gets something wrong. Every time. Oh, Trump spelled something wrong. He spelled coronavirus wrong. Look at your stupid, ignorant president. But the Democrat frontrunner, Joe Biden, he said, vote for the other guy. Poor kids are just as smart as white kids. He called somebody fat. He called somebody a dog-faced pony soldier. You're going to ignore that and vote for Joe Biden? You're going to just ignore the Democrat frontrunner's gaffes when Joe Biden was the frontrunner. The guy with literal dementia falling apart in front of our very eyes. Everybody in America can see it. You're going to ignore that because Trump had a gaffe. Oh, Trump stuttered. Trump was slurring his speech a little bit. So Trump is human. Trump is kind of like me. Sometimes I mess up when I'm talking. Wow, I can relate to that. Wow, the president said something kind of messed up, or he messed up on a speech, or he said something wrong. He forgot something. I'm like, so he's a human being. Okay, I can relate to that. See, what they want is that polished, smooth, slick talking. They just yearn for the days of Obama singing Al Green. That's why they virtue signal. That's why they grandstand. That's why Pete Buttigieg is out there talking about how moral and Christian he is. And it's like everybody's beneath them. They literally think that. But I know it's just projection. They are probably jealous of us. You can't get more elitist than these leftists. Michael Bloomberg saying, oh, you don't have enough gray matter. You stupid farmers. Anybody can grow corn. Okay. So why doesn't everybody grow corn then? If it's so easy, it's that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff that wakes people up. And I know it seems like they're the majority, guys, but they're not. They just have big, fat megaphones. They're really kind of shouting into the void at this point. Like, honestly, who is even listening? A few lunatics on Twitter? Twitter makes it look like the left is just this huge, massive thing with millions and millions of followers. Okay, we'll see in November. We'll see. Like I said, you don't need polls. You don't need primaries and all these super delegates and all this stuff. Just Use the eye test. That's why I go out on the streets with the Trump flag. Hey, honk for Trump. You know how many people honk their horns? If I went out with a Bernie sign, how many people will honk their horn? Let's have Bernie Sanders hold a rally in Tampa Bay, Tampa, Florida. Let's see how many people show up. Let's do a head count. If you show up, that's like voting for Bernie. Now let's have Trump show up to that same venue the next day. There will be lines around the block. People will be camped out. You tell me who's the majority. You mean to tell me that Trump has lost support? Trump has lost followers? Trump has lost voters? Of course, they'll find the two people in the Rust Belt who are disgruntled by Trump, and they'll put them on CNN and prop them up to make it seem like, see, look, they're deflecting. They're starting to turn their backs on Trump. In reality, he has such a following, guys. The following for Trump is so massive now. They can never let the word get out, but use your eye test. The optics tell the story. So we're the majority. They're the minority. We're on the side of truth. We're literally on the side of truth, science, facts, reality. These are all things that conservatives, for the most part, agree with. The left, they're trying to deconstruct and flip things in reverse, upside down. Up is down, down is up. They're inverting things. White elephant, will Trump lose the election because of the coronavirus? No. I don't think he's going to lose the election. He's not. No, he's not. This is akin to Trump's going to lose the election because, I don't know. They said the stock market was going to fall before. The reason why this isn't going to affect him because it's obvious that it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I looked at the live map of coronaviruses. It's supposed to be a live map. Like when there's a case reported, you can zoom in and see where it is. The United States has under 100, I know that, reported cases. And places like Italy have like 500. And they're looking them over there, taking stuff super seriously. Locking down schools, quarantines, all that stuff. There are more reported cases over there. How is that possible? How is it possible that we don't have that many reported cases? And people can see it's not his fault. So that wouldn't make sense from that standpoint. But then it's also like, what percentage of people are going to be like, okay, Trump botched the coronavirus thing. I guess I support communism now. That's not a thing. I don't think that's a thing. I think people have already kind of made their minds up. Either you support Trump or you don't. I don't understand how people could be on the fence. You probably have your mind made up because the extremes are so opposite. It is literally the most polar opposite election ever. That's kind of how it's supposed to be, in my opinion. So you can truly feel like you have a choice. You do. Bernie Sanders does represent change, like real change. Change for the worse, but change. Back in the day, the left and the right, the Republican and Democrat were indistinguishable from each other. They were all part of the same collective war caucus. They were all about keeping the status quo. That's why Trump got elected in the first place. That's why Bernie Sanders is the front runner right now. So it's going to be very clear to people who they support. Either you think America is an amazing place, but it needs to be fixed. There's more wrong with it, right? It's not perfect, but it's a great country. Let's build it. Let's make it great. Let's keep it great. That's me. That's you. Or America sucks. It's racist, white supremacy, bigotry, pillaging and rape and all these horrible things, and it needs to be destroyed and rebuilt. Well, you're going to be a Bernie Sanders supporter. And if you truly haven't made your mind up, but you live in America and your life is good, which side do you think you would fall on? That's what I'm saying, man. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you guys remember maybe a week or so ago, I was talking about how they're going to rob Bernie Sanders of this nomination. Watch it happen. This is open air corruption. They're going to rob Bernie Sanders like they did in 2016. Well, it's very obvious they don't like Bernie. They do not want Bernie representing the Democrat Party. But if Bernie wins the nomination, and they tried so hard to stop Bernie, they're trying to smear him and his followers, which that's actually a true thing, what they're saying about Bernie bros and their violence. But they try to stop Bernie from getting the nomination. If it doesn't work and Bernie gets the nomination, does that mean they're going to turn around and propel Bernie to the election? Are they going to push Bernie after that? Like, how do you go from, we got to stop Bernie Sanders, he can't win, and then when he gets the nomination, Bernie, how's that work? Are they really going to turn around and then support Bernie? Because we all know they hate Orange Man. Orange Man's bad. But is he worse than Bernie from their standpoint? That's going to be interesting to see. That's why I want Bernie to get the nomination for two reasons. One, because the establishment doesn't want him. And that's probably the right thing that should happen because he's the only candidate that has an actual real organic following. That's one reason, because that would show that they're maybe working out their corruption. Because, I mean, think about it. They let Trump get the nomination. How come Trump didn't get screwed out of the nomination? So maybe Democrats learned. I doubt it. But hey, so that's one reason for Bernie to win. The other reason is I want to see Trump win 49 states. Okay, let's call it 46 states. There's no way California's flipping. New York, Washington, Oregon. Okay, so let's call it 46 states. Let's see Trump win 46 states. That's what will happen if Bernie gets the nomination and there's no cheating, there's no voter fraud, there's no ballot harvesting, dead people don't vote, illegals don't vote, just pure American citizens vote. Donald Trump's winning in a landslide. Guys, we know it. Why does the left like to pretend like there's a chance he's going to lose? To who? A communist that praised Fidel Castro 4 days ago. That guy's going to beat Trump. He's going to get Cubans in Miami to vote for him after he said, Castro's a good guy. He educated people. He got them free healthcare. Okay. That guy's going to beat Trump. Or the guy who keeps telling people to vote for the other guy. Vote for the other guy. Give me a look. Give me a look. Joe Biden doesn't know what state he's in. Or Michael Bloomberg, who is a pure oligarch, represents everything they claim to hate. One of those three guys is going to beat Trump. We all know the landslide is coming, so we might as well just get the most grassroots guy, the craziest, farthest left guy, and let him represent that party, because we all know that they're all communists. They're all, well, I don't want to sound like Joseph McCarthy, but I would say this. The majority of them agree with Bernie on a lot of his policies, but they can't say that quiet part out loud. They're like, we need to tiptoe towards totalitarianism. Bernie's like, let's just get there now. Full steam ahead. I mean, the dude is a freaking communist, guys. Bernie Sanders is 100% full-blown communist. And he knows what kind of following he has. That's why he won't denounce violence at all at his own rallies. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that most violent left-wing extremists support Bernie Sanders. They do. Most violent left-wing protesters and extremists support Bernie Sanders. They've said as much. They're campaign staffers who said gulags are not so bad, and we're going to put conservatives in there, and Milwaukee's going to burn if he doesn't get the nomination. And all the other violent things they said, these are people he hired, and he won't denounce it. And he praised pretty much every socialist, communist dictator on the planet. He has pointed out all of the positives that you can find about communist China, the Soviet Union, Nicaragua, Cuba, and Venezuela. Yeah. And he tripled down. After he was criticized by it, he was called out by Democrats in Miami. Democrat congresswomen in Miami called out Bernie. He tripled down on that. He's like, yeah, Fidel Castro's not that bad. Fidel Castro's not that bad. That's Bernie Sanders. And not to mention, when he says we need a political revolution, he's always saying we need a revolution, a revolution. When he says that, that's like a dog whistle. Which political revolution in history didn't involve bloodshed and violence? Think about the French Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, the revolution in China under Mao, Tiananmen Square, all the crazy stuff that's happened there. Political revolutions are, when you call for that, I think that is a dog whistle for bloodshed, violence, extremism. I mean, the writing's on the wall. You mean to tell me that this dude's not communist? Not to mention all of his crazy policies. Open borders, free healthcare, Green New Deal, New Way Forward, just totally destructive policies. Sorry, let me read some of these comments, guys. I've got on a roll. Hold on. I can't see some. Mike, your Bernie is getting pretty good. I know, I've done it so many times now. It's easy. It's just too easy. The Commie-Crat Party must be defeated. You know, it's kind of crazy to just run around calling everybody communists. That was McCarthyism, right? But you remember what he said? Do you remember what? No, I wasn't alive. Maybe some of you weren't either. But I looked it up. Joseph McCarthy said that people from the KGB and communist Russia, Marxists, had infiltrated America through our institutions, our public education, our media, our political apparatus, and our entertainment industry. I think those words age like wine. Like, look at where we are now. If he was completely lying, how do you explain how far the Overton window has swung to the left? Look what they're trying to normalize. Look at the propaganda that's on Netflix and all the TV shows. Look how that just kind of slowly started changing from the 90s to the early 2000s. And now it's happening at a rapid pace now. Desmond is amazing. Look at all the stuff they're putting out there for public consumption. Kids can change their gender. Let's give them some puberty blockers. They know what they want to be by the time they're 2. And you bigots better not disagree. That's where we are. Look at the censorship. What was this talk? What did I title this? Owen Shroyer gets kicked out of CPAC. The people who claim to care about the First Amendment and freedom of speech kicked out Owen Shroyer. This is where we are. Anyways, guys, I've been live for an hour. I'm going to shut this down. I said everything I needed to say, and hopefully people will rewatch this. But see, I'm starting to fumble over my words. It's been a long day. I need to go drink some water and chill. But I will be back soon, actually sooner than later, because next week I got to drive up to Auburn to do the meet and greet with RSBN. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be on the road for most of the day, and I might get lonely, so I might do a little live stream. You know, I got a magnet in my car, so I won't be holding it. You know, I'll be safe. But maybe I'll do that. And as long as the left keeps providing this content, man, I'll keep doing this. So anyways, guys, God bless you. Appreciate you watching. Follow me on all the social media accounts, and I'll catch you in the next stream or video.